Hello everyone, welcome to Bluebell Designs channel, and today I bring you a very fun tutorial, another Shamballa Bag Designs bag. This one is called the ZAFIRO bag. Wow, it is a very beautiful bag. I can't wait to walk you through all of the steps. This pattern specifically does come with a lot of pieces, so just take it very slow with a lot of patience, and you're going to have a wonderful bag to give to a very special someone in your life. And it's just a perfect bag to go into your closet with your outfits. I really hope you enjoy, and then my step-by-step tutorial helps you get through the bag very successfully. Let's get started. Okay everyone, so here are all of the pieces for this wonderful project, for this wonderful bag. This is definitely going to be a lot of pieces, but do not be intimidated by it. Just take it one step at a time. So we're just gonna go over all of the pieces. So we have the flap panel of the bag, so we have those cut, and I recommend that you kind of clip them together so you don't lose them. And we also have the stereo pocket, so that one is there. And then we have the exterior main back panel. I'm using this vinyl due to the amount of pieces that were in this bag. It was definitely very important for me to make sure that I didn't have to interface a lot of these ones. Excuse me. And then I have the flap band, and that's that. I'm just gonna clip it so that I don't lose it. And then we have the lining gusset contrast, and those ones are well. And I'm gonna go a little faster, otherwise we're gonna be here for a while. And then we have the stereo main panel, the stereo main panel section 1, 2, and then we have exterior pocket side band, a flat strap, the bottom, and the lining. For the lining, I'm also using a fabric, a very thick fabric that doesn't have to be interface. We have the lining contrast band, we have the stereo gussets, the stereo main panels. Then we have all of the interfacings already set, cut in here. This is for the pocket piece that we are going to make. And here are all of the exterior, the lining pieces. So this is the lining, all of these are linings. And then we're going to need 2 zippers. I'm going to use a pre-made zipper for the interior pocket, and then I'm going to use zipper by the yard, and this one, it says that it has to be at least 16 inches long. I always cut it a little bigger, especially if it's zipper by the yard. And then you're going to need bag feet, zipper end, and this is what we're going to use to be attaching the straps. Here I have the straps here, and it's also called for piping, so I'm gonna make my own piping, and here is the strap for that. And then this is the hardware that we're going to use to attach the straps, and then I'm gonna try those. And then this is the hardware for the strap end that calls the bag. So I have that, and these are the D-rings for the straps. So we're gonna go ahead and just starts with the first step. Other things that you're going to need is double-sided tape, scissors. I just wanted to get a good shot of everything else, so I didn't have enough room to get it all in one shot. So scissors, you're gonna need oh my god, I can't think of it, a seam ripper, and some rulers for you to make markings as stated per the pattern. And this is it. So I'm just going to clear out the space and we're gonna get started with the first steps of the bag. Okay, the first step, it is going to be to install the magnetic snap, the female part of the magnetic snap. I was missing in my ginormous list of hardware that was needed. So I am going to mark the placement right here based on the pattern. So it is right there, and this is on the exterior pocket center. And then you're going to take the backing of the magnetic snap, right, and you're going to draw the lines. Perfect. Then after you draw the lines, you're going to gently open those up. Depending on what kind of material you're using, you're gonna have to go in a little bit harder to kind of open those up. There we go. And then you're going to place the female end of it. Just double checking in my pattern that that's what it says. There we go. I didn't cut it big enough and it's kind of struggling to go in, but it's okay. And before I continue, I am going to grab a piece of any scrap stabilizer that you have, and we are going to just insert in there. Oop, I didn't make it big enough. There we go. One here, one there. There we go. And you're gonna place your backing, and then you're just gonna push them out like so. And then the last step I like to do is just gonna cover that. So I'm gonna grab my glue that was not in the shot of it. My apologies. And there we go. And that is how it's looking. All right. This on the back. And then what I'm gonna do is place double-sided tape on that marking space. There we go. And then what we're going to do first is that we're going to just clip in those joints where they meet, and just clip right there and make another clip right there. And what that's going to allow us is to fold this way, all right, and get a crisp edge. So we're just going to fold and look at that 1/4 of an inch line, and I'm just folding against that tape because I'm using the same amount or the same thickness on the double-sided tape. So I'm just gonna trim those ears. Right. And then prepare this and add this to the exterior center pocket. So it's gonna go this way, just like so. And so, ooh, this is looking very pretty. So you're just going to attach some clips to it. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna top stitch a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all around it, like that. And this way we can attach the lower band to the center pocket. The following step is going to be to attach the exterior pocket side bands. One is cut exactly as this one, and the other one is this one is the mirror side, so you gotta cut one mirror and then one this side, so they go, this one that goes, that's, you can see the lettering on, goes in the left side, and then the mirror one goes in the right side. And what you're going to do is that you're going to place them like so and align them to the edges, and then just place some pins or clips, and do that on the other side as well. And then what we're going to do is going to the sewing machine, and we're going to attach this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And so that's what we're gonna go do and set this to the machine. Okay, the following step is going to be to top stitch the side panels at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So that's what we're gonna go do next. We're going to go and make sure that the seam is against the panel, so you can secure the seam, and do the same on the other side. Okay, the following step, after you're done top stitching the side bands of the center pocket, you're going to grab your lining center pocket, and you're going to place them right sides together, and you are going to clip them on the top, and you will take this to the sewing machine and attach at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stitch at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then once that's done, we are going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so after we're done attaching the lining pocket to the center pocket exterior, what we're going to do is we are going to top stitch this a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, but first we are going to just kind of line that up. And then now we are going to top stitch a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Our next step is going to be to work on the exterior main panel section 4 and exterior main panel section 3, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to attach these right sides together, and we are going to place clips along the edge, and we will be stitching a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then after that we will be top stitching a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, the following step is going to be to top stitch this a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Very important that the seam is upwards so that when you're top stitching you secure the seam. And so let's get this done. Okay, to finalize the construction of the front pocket, so we're gonna take the section 3 and 4 that we just put together, and we are going to place the center pocket that we have built and align them together, and then we're just going to clip around it to kind of match everything together. And then what we're going to do is to go ahead and top stitch this and just kind of baste at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance so that we can finish the construction of the center pocket. And this is how the center pocket will be looking, and we can set aside for the next steps. In this following step, we are going to again draw the 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we are going to use the double-sided tape and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut there, here, and those joints in the corners, so that way when we fold it this way it has a nice crisp edge, and we're folding to that 1/4 of an inch mark that we made, just like so. Right, And then you take one of the flap panels and we are going to align it with some clips this way. And then we're going to top stitch the inner edge of 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, after top stitching, we are going to trim about 1/4 of an inch or so of the flap panel to reduce bulk. Now we are going to place the inner facing for this panel and the other flap panel. So we're doing the stabilizer and centering those. And the same with this one. Right. And just going to and that is how we stabilize the pieces. Okay, in this following step, what we need to do is install the bridge that is placed here in the markings. However, I do not have a metal bridge. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to place a tag, my logo, and I'm going to just top stitch this side, this size, and this is what I'm going to be using as the metal bridge. So that's what I'm going to do. I saw this idea of the group, and I'm going to just do that. And I'm not going to place any tape because I don't want it sticking. I need that to just kind of bow like that, so that way I can insert the flap when it's the time. Okay, now we're going to work with the remaining of the flap panel, and we're going to first place the magnetic snap, the marking for the magnetic snap right there. We are going to place them brown sides together like so. So it looks like this, and we are going to top stitch or sew together a 1/4 of an inch with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all around it. So we're going to get them together. So we're just gonna sew the sides. We're not going to sew the top. Okay, now we are going to trim that the sides of the flap at 1/8 seam allowance. Okay, the following step is to find the middle of the flap strips. So I'm just going to draw, fold this in half and draw it in both this way. And then I'm going to use double-sided tape to both. Oops. There we go. And then now we're gonna place some double-sided tape and we're going to match these together like so. And then we're gonna top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, the following step is that when you have finished this flap, you're going to insert it into the middle bridge or whatever you use, and you're going to just place it flushed with the top part of your flap panel, and then you're just going to baste this at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, and now you have basted that into the panel. The following step is for you to grab the center exterior pocket, and you are going to center that with the magnetic snag placement, and you are going to baste the the top part at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, the next step after you have basted your flap of your pocket, you're going to grab your exterior contrast band 2, and you're going to align it to the top just like so, and we're going to sew all of this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, after we have attached, we are going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and we're going to make sure that the seam is on top right behind it so we can attach it with the top stitching. Okay, so here we have done the top stitching of the contrast exterior band 2. Now we are going to attach the contrast band exterior 1. So we're going to just once again do the same. As we have sewn these together, we are going to top stitch and make sure that once again the seam is right on top, so when top stitching it gets cut into the top stitch. And this is how our front exterior of our bag is looking right now, and we'll be moving to the next steps. Okay, now we are going to grab the exterior back main panel and the contrast band 2, section 2, and we're going to repeat the same steps as we did in the front. We are going to attach the band to the main back panel, and we are going to sew and attach this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. After attaching it, we are going to top stitch once again, making sure that the seam is right up, so when we're top stitching, it attaches to that top stitch. Okay, and then we're going to attach the section 1 of the top band to section 2 this way. And one more time, we are going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, keeping that seam allowance up to be catch by the top stitching. And now we have our back panel exterior belt, and this is how it should look like for you. Okay, the following steps that we're gonna be working on is to apply the stabilizers to the bottom panel. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to repeat the same with the gussets. We're going to use them, and we're going to put them like in the middle, like so. And then now we have these 3 pieces interfaced, and now we're going to work on interfacing our front panels. Okay, the next step is going to be to place the metal connectors for the straps. So I did not do the markings beforehand, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the middle of the contrast section 2 right here, right there, and where the pieces, I'm going to need my middles right there, and I am going to place the marking right there and turn it around and do the same right there and repeat. So I'm going to just find those middles right there, just finger press that line, match the middle of my pattern piece and match the middles. There we go. They need to go this way, I guess. Yep. Okay, so it's gonna be right there. where we're gonna make markings. Once again, we're gonna center this and we're just gonna press this so we can make our markings right there. And with the seam ripper, we're going to seam rip on this way, the diagonal. There we go. And then we're going to just insert those. There we go. And we're going to place this, but beforehand we are going to just do that. Never installed these ones beforehand, so bear with me. There we go. It's not perfect, and that's okay. There we go. And then now you're going to place that, and you're going to just, and very similar to the magnetic snaps. There we go. And that way. And that's how these are placed. And then now you're gonna cover that in so it doesn't rub into our lining. And that's what we're gonna do. Nice, so okay. So now that that one has been placed, we gotta do this all over again. Okay, so now we are going to mark the placements for the spring snaps. So just make sure that you line your pattern piece exactly and mark your spring snaps placements right there. And then now we are going to place them. So what we're going to do is that we're going to open the holes on those markings. we put this like so. And right, we're going to just like so. Make sure it's very secure. And then on the other end, we are going to place that one, this one, and we're gonna make sure we have that one. We're going to place this one, right? And so we're gonna set it, and we're going to just and there you have it. That's how you set those properly. Okay, so here is how the gussets should look with the spring snaps on. So what this is gonna do is going to just kind of clip like that. Yep. I am not going to cover those because those are totally fine and not really going to rub on the fabric in any way, and they are just very smooth, and so that should be fine. Okay, and then now before I continue with attaching the bottom gusset per the instructions, I'm just going to place the strapping to give it a very professional look. So that's how it goes, and then you are just going to place those little screws. Okay, so this is how the strap pen looks like, and then after this we can move on to the next step, which is attaching the bottom panel. What it's going to do is we're going to align this, find the middles, and attach it like so. And then we're going to sew a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So we're gonna sew this at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then we are going to top stitch at 1 inch, and we make sure that the seam allowance is on the bottom of that, and then we attach the back panel at this other side. Okay, so now after you have attached the bottom to the front, you're going to top stitch, and the seam has to be facing down towards the bottom of the base of the bag, like so. And that's how we're gonna top stitch at 1 inch of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so now we're gonna grab the other back exterior, and we're gonna match The middle's right here, right there. And we're going to do the same. We're gonna sew at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, after you're done stitching, oops, now what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch the bottom again. This one is gonna go towards the bottom, the back of the so it has to be facing the bottom, and we're gonna top stitch a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, the next step is going to be to place the back feet. So I'm just going to transfer those markings. And we're going to just open with a seam ripper. And then we're looking for those back feet. There they are. So we place the back feet like so. And then I want to make sure that when I open them up, I'm opening them in the horizontal way. And they're nice and secure. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cover them so it doesn't rub on our lining fabrics. And then we have attach your back feet, and the hardware is looking pretty nice and super consistent. So our next step is to attach our gussets in this way. So we're going to attach one gusset with right sides together this way. Okay, so you attach that, and then you are going to clip all of it together like so. Perfect. And then you're going to repeat the same with this one. And now this is how it should look like. And let's take this to the sewing machine and sew a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance all around it. So after you have finished attaching the exterior, we are going to clip, make some clips right here in the bottom before turning the exterior right side out. Okay, the next step is to start working on the exterior. So I am going to find the middle of the pocket lining, right? And on the back of it, I am going to draw about a 7-inch box. I have this template from Mermino, and it makes it really easy for me to. The pattern comes with its own set of instructions, and then I'm gonna find the middle of one of the lining pieces, whichever you decide, and I am going to do it about let's say 2 inches down. So we're gonna make it 2 inches down, or 1.5. Let's do 1.5. 1.5. There we go. 1.5. 1.5. And then we're gonna place the pocket right down there, and we are going to stitch in that box, in that box that we drew, and then after that we'll work on putting the zipper together. Okay, after you're done sewing that square, you're going to find the middle of it. It's about that, and you're going to get some angle lines in those corners, and with a seam ripper you're gonna start just ripping this, giving it a start, and then with your scissors you're gonna go and cut and kind of get close to those stitches without cutting them in the diagonal lines, as close as you can, and do the same here. And the same here. Get close without cutting the stitches, and then you're just gonna insert the lining into the pocket, like so. So I have this pre-made zipper. What we're gonna do is just that you're going to just center it. You can help yourself with double-sided tape, whatever is easier for you. It's okay if your zipper is much longer. This is what I had on hand, so that's what I'm using. And okay, after you have closed the pocket together, you are going to just cut the zipper tape, the excess of zipper tape, and there is your lining pocket. And then we're going to move to the next step. The next step is going to be to prepare the zipper for the lining, and I use him zipper by the yard, so I'm just placing the zipper like this, making sure right, and then it's gotta open to the left, open to the right, and close to the left, this way. Then it tells us that we are going to mark 2 inches from the ends. So about 2 inches from the ends. Like so. So we're just gonna mark right there. And then we're going to fold it to itself in this way. And place a clip. For the next step, we're gonna take one of the lining pieces, and the pattern tells us to mark 2¼ inches from both sides, from the edge to the center. So 1, 2¼ like so, and both ends 2¼ and this is going to tell us where the zipper starts and ends. And then it tells us that we are going to place the zipper right side up, and we're going to attach it up to the marker. So we're gonna go sew this and baste it on up to from the marking and here. So your zipper is going to start in the right side marker and is going to end in this left side marker that we just drew. Okay, the following step is going to be to attach one of the contrasting bands of the lining, and after you have based the zipper and start and stopped in the markings as the pattern, you're going to take one of the contrasting bands and just clip them together like so. And making sure that you keep the zipper down so you don't sew it and it just starts and stops in the marking that you did. And that's what we're going to do. This is how it looks like. And now we're gonna sew a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, after you sewn the band together, you are able to cut the XX of your zipper that's behind it. So we're just gonna cut that like so. And then now we're gonna top stitch a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, making sure that your seam is going upwards so that it catches the top stitch. And let's continue with that. So for the remaining of the lining, we are going to repeat the same steps. We have made the markings at 2 1/4 from the top, from the edges towards the inner part of the lining, and then now we are going to do the same, where we are going to attach the zipper starting at the marking, clipping and ending at the marking, and then we'll transfer the marking to the zipper, making sure we stop there, and we clip right there, and we're gonna clip all around it. Once again, we're gonna base that 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, after we have based the zipper, we are going to continue doing the same step, which is attaching the band and clip it all around. Okay, once again, we are going to trim that excess zipper up there. There we go. And then now we're going to top stitch the band at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, making sure our seam is facing upward so we can catch it with the top stitching. Okay, the following step is going to be to attach the exterior lining contrast to the gussets of the lining. So we are going to be attaching those. Just put in some clips. Doing the same with this one. Okay, the next step is going to be to top stitch and make sure that the seam allowance is going towards the top so you can catch it through the top stitching. Okay, in this step we're going to attach the bottom of the lining to one of the lining panels, and we're going to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance as indicated for the pattern. Okay, after attaching, we are going to do a top stitch, and we are going to do this having the seam allowance point facing towards the bottom so it can be cut during the top stitching process. Now we are going to do the same with the other lining panel. Use some clips to hold together. Once again, we are going to top stitch. You can open your zipper. You can put a clip on that so your buckle doesn't slide off the zipper pull. And now we are going to top stitch. Okay, in the following steps, we're going to attach the gussets to the lining. So we are going to find in the middles of this piece in the middle of this piece like so, and we are going to attach meeting those points right sides together, and then you're going to meet the top parts and clip, and then the top parts, making sure that your seam allowances match so they look even. The same right here, clip, and then clip around your edges, your curves. Okay, after you have attached one of them, then you're going to start at 3/8 of an inch, and then you're going to increase that at 1/2 an inch, and then when you go over here to where the contrast lining is, continue and go down to the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And this is for the lining to fit very snug inside your bag. Now we're going to repeat the same steps. We're going to find the middle of the bottom, in the middle of the other lining piece, like so. Okay, so we have finished setting up the lining. What we're gonna do is insert. So this is the lining and it's all completed. We have left the opening to turn the bag. So now we're going to insert the interior inside the bag, making sure that you know exactly which side of your interior you want into the back side of the bag and which one you want in the front side of the bag. Then you're just going to insert. You're going to open the strings, the spring snaps, and then what you're going to do is that you're going to align those middles like so, and open the seams so that way it's less bulky when you're sewing, and start just matching those first. Make sure that you open the seams so you can match them. Trying for the video to really show the process, and then I'm matching those up, and and then you go around and you match those as well. There we go. And then you match these ones as well. Open those seams to reduce bulk. And you clip. And then after this hard part is done, you can just go ahead and clip all around, as many clips as you wish. Okay, now we are just going to turn the bag through the opening that you have left right there. So we're going to just take the bag, gently fit it through that opening. For me to be able to top stitch, as I have a flatbed machine, I have to put the bag inside the lining again this way. So the trick to do this is to kind of pull it back again through that opening. That's why we haven't closed that opening, because I do not have a cylinder machine. And so this step makes it easy for me to do the top stitching. So now we can work on that edge to go around, and you cannot roll the seams back and forth like so, and clip. Okay, and this is how your bag should look like after it has been top stitched. It is adorable. I just need to, with a lighter, kind of burn those threads. But now what we're gonna do is that we are going to take the lining out, and we are going to close the opening that we left. So what you're going to do is that you pull on that opening, and then what we're going to do is clip it. Okay, the following step is to work on the straps of the bag. So I have marked my middles. As you can see here, I have marked my middles, and I have placed double-sided tape to help me with this part. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the double-sided tape, as you see, and then I'm going to just meet the edges. And then after that, you're going to clip. And then we're going to sew a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to repeat this with the other handle and just have it clip like so. And let's start sewing. Okay, now we're up to the last steps of the bag. So what we're going to do is attach the handles. So I have measured this one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that your strap is correct. You're gonna insert it this way, and then you're gonna measure. That is about 1 inch right there. After the fold from here, from the handle, and you're going to place a clip right there, and you're going to repeat the same measurement. And another key thing for you is to decide which one you want to do the right or wrong side. And another important thing is that the edges of it has to be towards the inside of the bag. So you measure 1 inch from that fold. That we're going to, you have two options. You can sew this together, or you can place you can do how did you call those? Oh my goodness. You can do rivets. You can press rivets, which that's what I'm going to do. And the next step and final step is to place the zipper end. And so what you do is you kind of fold that, and that's to hide the raw edge. But you have to remove the little screw so it fits. If you want to help, I'm gonna just cut these, and I'm gonna seal it so that way it even prevents it better. And now I'm gonna fold that in, and I'm gonna stick it. So some people put a little glue on it. We could too. And then we're going to put it this way, just a little bit of glue, and then you're going to insert without keeping that inside. I just moved it out. There we go. All right, and then you insert your little screw very gently. Oh my goodness. There we go. And this is how you close your bag. You can put it inside. And so here you have the bag, which has an interior pocket, as you can see. And then it has the zipper pocket right there, the papa color. That looks cute. And then it has an exterior pocket, a big exterior pocket, and then you have it. So we're just going to finish. I'm gonna clean this up here, and we're going to finish placing the handles. Okay, so after you've done all that process, now we're going to just set those rivets. Okay, so here I present to you the final product of my bag that I decided to make. It has a top closure, as you can see in the bag. It has the handles. It is very nice. It has this wonderful pocket, exterior front pocket. I added a zipper pocket in the inside and a slip pocket on this other side, and it has this shape with the spring snaps, so if you click it, then it will be completely finished. And I really hope you enjoy this bag. Thank you.